Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. This is a car I had been looking forward to driving for quite some time. This is the 2024 Audi S8, which you probably already know by clicking on the thumbnail and the title of this video, but I've always appreciated the A8 and the S8 for being a bit of the auto enthusiast's large executive sedan, if you will. There's obviously the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class, but the Audis have always been a little bit more of the sporting choice in this segment. And I guess I should also include the Lexus LS, and now there's the Genesis G90 as well. Well, the Audi has a different character than all of those, and after spending a week with the S8, I don't think that's quite a good thing. But we're going to go for a drive, we're going to have some fun with it, we're going to talk about this, compare it to the S6 that we had not too long ago, compare it to the other German rivals, talk about what it offers you here in 2024. But first things first, right off the bat, this color combo has really gotten me the whole time I've had this car. Between the chrome elements, this green paint, I'll put the name of it below here from the window sticker, and then this tan interior. Quite nice. I've been a fan of this. Usually you just see these cars in black or silver, maybe white, so it's nice to see it with some color. Soft closed doors doing their job. All of the luxury must-haves on paper are certainly here. Being the S8 model, we're seeing carbon fiber where you might instead see wood or some sort of aluminum in more of an A8 model. Bringing this center console down for the back if the car were on, which we can do by reaching up here. Then we get a little rear seat remote screen with the ability to adjust media controls, lighting controls. We have individual seat controls back here as well, so I can give recline. I can even put myself from here into more of a recline position. Very nice right there. And you're definitely getting that quintessential Audi experience of the crispness to everything. I've always really appreciated that. We've had the S4, the S6, and now the S8. All of them have this very satisfying tactile feel, and everything's built so well. The materials are so nice. From an ease of use and a crispness standpoint, Audi is my favorite of the German luxury brands right now. I really do appreciate them for how nicely everything works inside the vehicles and how nice the things are to use. Door opens nice and wide, easy to get in and out of, you know. Let's take a quick look at the motor before we go for a drive. Powered by one of my favorite engines on the market right now, the Audi twin-turbo V8 4-liter motor, making 563 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque in this application. And it is quite a lot, I will say. It is a robust engine. It's making more than you're getting from something like the 760i or the 580 from Mercedes, the S-Class 580. I think it looks the part, it drives the part. From a sporting potential, but the weird thing is I don't see a lot of people buying a sedan of this size and then using it as a sportsmobile, but we'll talk about that a little bit more on the road here. Again, such a nice place to get into. And you can't smell it, but I'm being wafted with a perfume right now from the climate control. Definitely like having that. 48 volt mild hybrid motor comes to life there and turns on, presents itself. We see the Bang & Olufsen tweeters that rise up in front of us in the dash. Check the link below if you would like to see our dedicated breakdown of the Bang & Olufsen 3D advanced system in here. Spoiler alert, not fantastic. That goes a little bit into why I've been a bit disappointed in this car over the time that I've had it. For those of you who watched our S6 review, this interior is going to look very familiar. In fact, it uses the same infotainment and climate control screen and MMI. All of it is essentially just a grab out of the S6. And it's interesting to me that a lot of the driving experience from this car to the S6 is similar, but yet this car costs $140,000 and the S6 is about $90-some thousand with the Prestige package. So obviously you are getting extra things. It's a larger car, it's got a much more robust back seat area, there is a little bit higher feature set in this S8 model, but the S6 gives you a lot too, it really does. I was never driving the S6 around and feeling like I was lacking in a luxury element. just now noticing that I've subconsciously matched the exterior of the S8. Driving down the road here, you can hear how supremely quiet this cabin is. Great job with the sound isolation, both from the outside elements as well as the motor in front of us trundling along at just over 1,000 RPM when we're cruising at about 50 miles per hour. But I am getting quite a bit of road imperfection coming into the cabin. In fact, the suspension in general is not nearly as supple as I would want from a vehicle in this class. And that starts to get into why I'm a bit confused as to the intended buyer of this car. Because you would think most people with $140,000 to drop on a new vehicle are probably going to have more than one car in the household. And they're probably going to have some sort of garaging situation that can accommodate more than one vehicle. So if you were to purchase simply an A8, then you should be able to save a good amount of money. Oh, let's use some getting around power right here. Holy cow. That's fantastic. You could purchase an A8 for quite a bit less money and then take that remainder right there and use it to put towards some sort of a very capable and very good sort of weekender, exciting kind of car, whether it's new or used. We're going to get this out into the canyons here in a moment, and I'm going to show you how remarkably capable it is for spirited driving and great driving roads. But again, I just don't see how many people would be willing to forego a degree of comfort in exchange for that sporting ability at this price point. Speaking of comfort, we are greeted with just a few drive modes here in the S8: Auto, Dynamic, Comfort Plus, and Individual. Individual allowing you to choose between your driving mode, your suspension mode, your steering, and your engine sound. What does crack me up though is that you've just got Comfort Plus. It's not just Comfort. Why isn't it just a Comfort drive mode? No, it's got to be Comfort Plus. But the problems I've had with Comfort Plus is that the vehicle's still not smooth enough. I've been trying to have this gentle, what Rolls-Royce would call it, waftability coming away from stops and making corners and just generally driving the car around. And I get weird throttle jolts coming off from stops. And there's a smoothness that the car is lacking, even in Comfort Plus mode, that would not make you think it's on nearly the same level as what you'd get from Mercedes or BMW. What do we think? Is this person drunk or just simply a really bad driver doing 15 below the speed limit and going over the lines? Texting, maybe? Smooth driving is where the S8 falls short, but it does attempt to make up for it with its dynamic mode. And despite the extra weight of this car, that 4-liter twin turbo does still have the ability to have a lot of fun. So let's get it up in some of these exciting canyon roads here, give it a little toss around. It's remarkably powerful. The torque, that 590 pound-feet, is accessible so broadly around the power band that, it just shoves you whenever you're ready for it. The ZF 8-speed transmission in here is one of our favorites for how well it handles both smooth driving and spirited driving. Just the right amount of gears. Great shifts. The problem is once you get up to this class of vehicle, the size becomes more of a novelty than an enjoyment factor. And this powertrain, even though made less power, the general setup in the S6 resulted in a car that really pleasantly surprised me. I enjoyed being in that car in all sorts of different driving situations, whether it was daily driving or spirited driving. It really handled it all well. The S8 kind of still tries to do both, but misses more so. I mean, it's got so much more that it's working with. it's almost like an aged athlete still trying to compete with the younger bucks. And I mean, he's still got something, he's still got the power, but the finesse just simply isn't there. It's not as crisp. I'm still impressed by the S8. It's just not playful and coherent the way the S6 is. A vehicle in this class should be a luxury car first and a performance car second. And the S8 tries to be a performance car first and then ends up entirely whiffing on being a luxury car. Let's get a quick 0 to 60 blast up this hill. Not exactly accurate. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely crazy how fast this thing accelerates, though. I mean, the floor mat pulls back, the whole front end nearly lifted. I love this engine so much. This, I know who this car is for now. If you live near the Autobahn, here you go. That's where I understand it, is just flying down the Autobahn, backcountry roads where speeds are not very important. There's two of the S8's competition right there, looking healthy. I personally like the tech suite in the S8. I like how smooth and easy it is to use the componentry. I like how high definition the screen is, but I fully recognize and understand that the S-Class and the new 7 Series are light years ahead from a technology standpoint from this car. So as much as I personally find this tech suite okay, especially again in the 6 Series of cars, and this tech suite is much easier to use than what you find in both the BMW and the Mercedes. The BMW and Mercedes both provide a lot more functionality and features that this car simply doesn't have in it. And if you are looking for something that really feels like a futuristic car, yeah, you're going to have to go with one of those two other options. Outside of the driving dynamics, from an interior feature set perspective, the S8 is a little bit more like getting one of those near luxury type of brands, like maybe closer to a Lexus LS or something like a G90, where you're supposed to be able to pay a little bit less and get a less of the cutting edge feature set, but still get this size of vehicle. And I don't think Audi wants to compete in that market space. I think they want to be a leader right up there with Mercedes and BMW. So the A8 and the S8 here are going to need an entire refresh and new generation to feel like a true competitor to those other two models. What the S8 is a driver's performance executive sedan, and for just the right sort of buyer, okay, fair enough, but I see that subset as pretty darn narrow. But before we wrap things up, we do have to rank the S8 on the Daily Motor leaderboard. Let's see what we got. Taking a look at the list so far for 2024, leaders being the Kia EV9, Hyundai Ioniq 6, Toyota Prius, and then right there in 4th place, the Audi S6. This car is not as exciting as the S6. It's not as revolutionary as the i5. It's not as practical as the Tucson. But I do think it stands out more than the S4. So for me, it's going right there, 7th place behind the Tucson and above the Audi S4. It just lacks the character that the S6 had. The S6 blew me away in how exciting the car was to be in every single time. I didn't want to give it back. This car it's cool. Like I said, it's a little more of a novelty, but it doesn't do luxury driving as well as its competitors, and it doesn't do sporty driving as well as something that would be a little bit smaller. So for me, it's okay to go. But thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the S8, check the link below. A lot of you are going to want to check out our sound system test. I really dug deep with that one, so please check it below. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on. it.